Welcome again, Libra. It's November 2016, Dadhichi here from astrological.com.au, and thanks for joining me. For those of you that are new, this is our brief but hopefully informative segment in terms of a Western astrology reading of your sun sign, or if you know your rising sign for the sign of Libra. This particular month is very important because the new moon, which occurs just at the tail end of October, is ushering in a very important new cycle for you in terms of money, in terms of income, being in the sign of Scorpio, where right now we see this new moon, the sun of course, and Mercury dominating your horoscope. There are a couple of other points I want to talk about, but when we see the new moon taking place in the area of finance, it not only signals an opportunity for new income, but it also has a lot to do with the emphasis you place on different things. Things by way of material resources. Time is a thing because, as they say, time is money. The things in life that you utilize to achieve material satisfaction and sustenance. So these are really the focus areas for you right now. And particularly with your ruling planet, Venus, moving in the third house, having just crossed the conjunction of the inhibitive Saturn. This third house is communication, negotiations, contracts and that sort of thing. You may have been stifled in that area. You may be learning that there are new ways to negotiate what you want. You know, you're the sign that wants balance. But I've got to tell you, in my 3 decades of experience, a lot of Librans are struggling for balance. They don't necessarily have it. So right now, this is one area we see particularly. Of course, you've got Jupiter transiting the sun sign Libra now. That's going to continue for a while longer. So you do have that great benefactor, that lucky planet, bringing with it lots of opportunities. But my question to you, and I think you need to question yourself on this, is how are you utilizing these opportunities? What are you valuing in the process? Are you emphasizing the wrong sorts of parts of the deal, if we could put it that way? Are you de-emphasizing things that could be more valuable to you? That's quite possible, having had the conjunction of your ruler with Saturn in the third house. So the problem with Libra 2 is its indecisiveness. Fortunately, Saturn in this third sector of your horoscope does tend to bring more gravity to your thinking. It makes you more capable of resting on your own decisions rather than, as I've seen with many Librans, relying on others to help them make those decisions, doubting themselves when it comes to important decisions. Having Venus now past it, I think you're learning the lesson here that it's okay to share your ideas or to get advice, but you do ultimately have to make decisions for yourself. And that third house has a lot to do with the decision-making process. We also see that being an air sign, you can be a little bit scattered, especially with Jupiter now. The opportunities are there, but which particular opportunity are you going to take? By the way, excuse me, if you see some of the lighting phasing in and out, we've had some pretty heavy storms here in the Philippines. So it's messing with the phasing and the current. So it's not your equipment, it's the electricity here. So dispersing yourself into too many different areas is something you need to curb. And getting back to the issue of values, money, income, yes, the opportunity is there. But I want to advise you that you mustn't lose opportunities either for the sake of thinking that the only way you can be paid is in cash. Because there are other, what I call elegant forms of currency, and I've used that term before. And being a Libran, most Librans I know do really resonate with the word elegance. So I'm saying, apart from your clothing and your furnishings and your domestic environment, you can extend the idea of this word elegance to how you're paid, to how you can negotiate a better deal for yourself. And that, to me, is what stands out here at the moment. You know, there's nice aspects from Neptune, the South Node, which has to do with your past karma, the actions, the processes you've set in place in the past, are now working very, very nicely for you. Your imagination, your idealism, your spirituality, all of this can be tied in very beautifully with this new moon in your second house of finance and income. So I think this is very pertinent to what's happening, and you should give yourself some credit. Unfortunately, with Mars having been transiting your fourth house, you've probably been a little bit pissed off with things. Fortunately, that's passing now. There may have been some intense happenings on the home front, and I keep coming back to the issue of value. You will find at times, as you may have found in the previous few weeks, that your value system is at odds with those in your environment. So this is the balancing act. Finding equity there in terms of what you want, what you think is valuable, what someone else thinks is valuable, and vice versa, what you don't think is valuable. That's all very, very important. And if you can find some common meeting ground, you, out of most of the star signs having that capacity to see the other person's side of the story, can do that. But you mustn't oscillate to the point where you cripple yourself, to the point where you're paralyzed. And that's what I'm saying here. You need to rely on your own resources, your own instincts at the moment, and from that you can and will start to do much, much better. Now, the full moon is the tail end of this new moon. That takes place around the 14th of the month, and that's going to take place in the 8th house, which again is a finance house, but this has more to do with that's why I led into this, with what other people value. This has to do with banks, finance, annuities, taxation, inheritances, what is owed to you. So that's why I did touch on the whole concept of elegant currency. There may be some circumstance arising, for some of you anyhow, where what it is that you're owed may not be able to be paid in the way you want it to be paid, on the terms that you want it. So I think in the second half of the month, it serves you well to think outside the square in the terms that I've just mentioned. What are the alternative ways that someone can give you what it is that you want? If they've run into some trouble, they're stuck financially, they're indebted to you, how can you resolve this intelligently through that concept of elegant currency, I guess is what I'm asking you. Certainly a lot to think about, and the chart here is favourable. I do see the transit, these new moons and full moons, bringing with them a whole new vista of opportunities for you. And when we take a look at the transits of your ruling planet, the end of the month is a little bit dicey there, because you've got that square or right angle from your ruler Venus. I'm just having a look at your transits here to Jupiter. So that's a tough one. That again comes back to the domestic situation. This could be family differences that are messing with the whole idea of value, of equity, differences of opinion. Maybe it has to do with real estate itself. What you should do in terms of selling a property or gaining income through some property measures. Just fall back on that thing I mentioned. Elegant currency is the key phrase for you this month. If you can keep focused on the notion that there are other ways of valuing things, then I think you'll be home and hosed on this one, Libra. I hope you'll join me again next month. Don't forget, stop in at the site astrology.com.au, take a look at what's on offer there, and by all means, I'm always available if you'd like to go even far deeper into your personal horoscope with a one-on-one reading, and I'm at your service. See you next month. Bye-bye now.